I've made a bunch of videos trying to help people out when doing challenges on Warzone, especially when they don't have access to multiplayer or just mostly play Warzone. Whether that's doing challenges to unlock weapons, camos for weapons, or just challenges to rank and tier up quicker. I just thought I'd do a little updated and compiled version of some of these tips that I've given out in the past, which are relevant to Season 6 and the current landscape in Warzone. Because I am going to get into the best ways to do challenges in general in Warzone, I'm not going to get into too many specifics for each type of challenge, but I do have other videos on those which I'll put as clickable cards here and at the end screen. Okay, so on to the tips. The one thing all challenges have in common is that you stand the best chance of completing them the more enemies you come into contact with. That's just a statistical probability, and it does really help. Which is why classic standard Battle Royale Warzone is so tough to do these challenges in, despite being the most played game mode in Warzone. My first big suggestion is to always be looking to utilise limited time game modes. They can easily be overlooked on occasion if you are focusing on smashing up Verdansk with your squad, but there really are some gems of game modes, especially for doing challenges that so far have evaded you. In the past, and I expect again in the future, we've had Warzone Rumble, for example, a 50 vs 50 team deathmatch game mode on a small part of the map. It's great for doing challenges, as you could just keep respawning and trying again if you do die, all with your loadout already on. In addition, most of the people in the games that I went into were also working on challenges, so it wasn't too tough to complete them since most people weren't completely sweating for the win. Warzone also had another limited time game mode, which was again essentially team deathmatch, but in teams of 4, still giving you plenty of exposure to enemies and chances to complete challenges. A similar mode was Mini Royale too. Again, this was only on part of the map, but was closer to classic Battle Royale. It was basically the standard mode, but with half the player count and a smaller map. This made it great to get in the action sooner. I'm sure you've played games where you've ended up getting hyped before you start, then you run around for 10 minutes and don't even see anyone. Well, not with this mode. Lots of action and lots of challenges to complete too. We've also had Armored Royale as a limited time game mode. This was out just a few weeks ago and was completely different from everything else we've seen. You enter with your squad of 4 and have a tank drop on you. Then you can upgrade the tank in various ways, including a pulsing radar and more health. As long as this tank survived, you could respawn too. This meant that everyone was a little more crazy on the map, just running around and gunning for it, which made it super fun and again great to do challenges. Even if the tank blew up, you could buy one again for like 6k, so it gave you plenty of chances to get back in the fight and give it another crack. Even the current Halloween based limited time game mode of Zombie Royale can be a massive help to you when trying to complete annoying challenges. Okay, so it is dark and a pretty mental game mode, but 150 people drop on a reduced map size, ensuring plenty of conflict with enemies, so that's a tick for this game mode straight away. Unfortunately, respawns aren't exactly enabled and you don't spawn in with your loadout, but don't let that deter you just yet. You can of course still buy your loadout, and there seems to be an abundance of cash around, and the loadout drops still drop just before the start of the second circle and at the beginning of the 5th. Okay, well, what about all the dying? Sure, that can be an obstacle, however, it's really easy just to keep coming back from zombie to human. You just collect 2 antidote syringes highlighted in purple, and bam, you're back in the fight. And most importantly, back in the fight with whatever weapons you had when you died. So if you had your loadout and died, you'll be flying back in with it. This is great news, but in addition to this, the kills you get on zombies do actually count towards your challenges, which can be really useful when racking them up against the undead, as they are generally just easier to kill. This is particularly useful if you're trying to get multi-kills and things like that. As you can see, there's lots of variety in these limited time game modes with potential to help you out massively towards challenges, so make sure you keep an eye out for them. Oh, just real quick before I go on, I just gotta tell you that it would be great if you could give the video a like if you're enjoying it, and maybe even subscribe if you want to see more Call of Duty videos. I even have channel memberships now, which give you exclusive perks. You can find out more about them by clicking join next to the subscription button, or by following the link down in the description. Anyway, back to the challenge tips. I couldn't make a video talking about ways to complete challenges on Warzone without mentioning Plunder. Plunder is a permanent game mode within Warzone and allows you to spawn in with your chosen loadout and has respawns enabled. This is great for doing all kinds of challenges and is generally your best bet. Advice I give within this game mode is to attack hotspots on the map. Generally these are Superstore, Storage Town, Downtown and Boneyard. It of course depends on the path of the plane at the start of the game, but as a rule of thumb, get yourself down to these places. Other hotspots are often bunkers and of course the high earners, which are highlighted on the map. Another great way to get in the action is to actually become a high earner. This will end up in people constantly dropping on you to try and take the crown. Well, let them and let it rain. It's best to do this with a competent squad. Obviously that's not always possible, but give it a go. Sometimes you can actually get some easy challenge kills by just jumping off at the end of the plane's path and killing some players who are otherwise occupied and are just floating down to your grasp. I used to advise this for a way to do a bunch of challenges in my older videos, but since then, many people are onto this little trick too, so be prepared to occasionally fight off other people for the AFK players. All of these little ways of increasing your chances of completing challenges can be helped along with the power of working with others. Never underestimate getting your friends to help or even chatting to strangers in game. One way they can help could be to let you finish off their downed enemy. Remember, they still get the kill for it. There was even some people in the comments section of one of my older videos saying they kept searching for a lobby at the same time as each other to get into the game on opposite teams and completed challenges like that. This is essentially boosting, so officially I should say don't do that, but that would be a great way to help, and if you only did it once or twice, it wouldn't be too harmful, would it? Although I have tried to give you help and advice to complete challenges, the bottom line is doing challenges on Warzone is just harder than doing it on multiplayer. So don't be too hard on yourself if you are struggling to do them on Warzone. Occasionally there are free multiplayer weekends that are oases to free-to-play players. Unfortunately, Season 6 hasn't had one yet. I think the Black Ops Cold War beta and Halloween event have overshadowed the free weekend, but I'm sure there'll be one in the not too distant future. Perhaps in the Black Ops Cold War era of Warzone, since that's not too far away now. What tips would you give to someone trying to complete challenges just on Warzone? Comment below and share the love. And as mentioned, I have got other videos on more specifics on different types of challenges, so be sure to check them out at the end screen here and in the cards in the top right of the screen. I urge you to like and subscribe if you've made it this far. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.